the last time you saw this plant. It was in a video that I did, and I got this as a bag baby. And it was the first bag baby I've had to bloom. So I did a video, and I'll link a description. In the description, I'll link the video so that you can go back and watch it, of this flower opening. So we talked about in that video that I got the bag baby. Well, I talked about it in a video that I had gotten the bag baby, and the reason why I got it is it had a flower bud to it. Well, then I did a second video of it actually opening. Well, this flower is remained open, and we've pushed out, this plant has pushed out another bloom, and this one here, I'm hoping it's extending and getting longer, that it should be opening within the next couple of weeks. And then it has pushed out another bloom spike here. Let's see if you can see those. I like to put my hand up here hoping that it won't focus on my hand, but it'll focus on the plant. Not focus my hand, my face. And then it'll focus on those buds there. And this looks to me like there are at least 2 buds on this one right here. And this one actually got trapped inside the leaf, and I had to release it a little bit out of the leaf here, and it was all crumpled like this. And then within a day or two, that is go ahead, the flower spike has gone ahead and straightened out. Now, let me tell you what it is. This is Procatavola, key lime stars, crossed with lime cooler. BLC, I think is now just BC lime cooler, is what this is crossed with. And you can look at this plant here, and you can take a guess. This has Brassolaeliocattleya in its parentage, in its lineage, I should say. In the lineage, it has Brassolaeliocattleya in it. And if you'll look, that gives you the shape of the flower here, kind of a little star-shaped. Bigger lip is on that. And a lot of times in Brassolaeliocattleya will pass on, even though there is no spots in its flower, it will have spots in the progeny. A lot of the progeny have spots in it. There are some exceptions. This one has spots just ever so slightly on the outer part of the lip here, and just kind of way up in there in the column. It started out a good green, and as it's fading, the petals and the sepals here are turning more into a little golden yellow, still kind of a greenish yellow, but they are fading just a little bit. But I am hoping this is going to be a really prolific plant. I mean, look at those roots now. Look at them down in there. All those new root tips. The other bud has opened before I could finish editing this video. So I just wanted to show this one to you. Look at it. It's at least twice the size of the other flower that we were just looking at. Let's move on to the next plant that is in bud or bloom. This is my compact cattleya that I got from SVO. There has been the SVO secret haul videos that I have done, and I've also done an update of SVO. Well, here's another update. This is SLC Candy Sparks Red Candy Striped, crossed with SLC Memorial Trudy Marsh Sun Blast. And in the last video, we talked about the 2 new growths that it had coming out on it. Well, hello. There is a bloom spike with 1 little bud. Yay! Now we'll get to see what this looks like, this seedling. We'll get to see it. I'm so excited. This should be in the orangey red sunset kind of colors. I've only seen a picture. I think Fred Clark posted 1 picture of a bloom from this cross. So it's going to be really exciting to see what this looks like. I can already tell by the coloration on the pseudobulb sheaths here, as well as in the leaf back here and the bud itself. Now this is growing under lights, so you can get a lot of this coming from this dark coloration. A lot of times you can get that if the plant is getting a lot of high light. You can get that, but you can also get that if the plant itself, the flowers are going to be in the red family, the red colorways. You can get that coloration, and we've definitely got a lot of that going on. Even the back of this leaf has it here. So this is definitely going to be, more than likely, I'm going to guess red. I'm going to predict red right now, that it's going to be a red flower. Orange is okay, but I think this is going to be red. But this is a compact cattleya, so it's going to stay compact shorter. It'll also stay compact this way between the rhizomes, but the plant itself will remain small. And that's one of the reasons why I got this plant from SVO, is growing indoors in windows, and because I grew my collection so much this year, I had to start putting things under lights. That is one of the reasons why I got this plant, was so it would remain small and not just be every single plant in my collection be as large as my George King Serendipity Cattleya that has 40 pseudobulbs on it. Make sure you go back and watch that video too, the largest cattleya in my collection. And I predicted right. Look at this little red flower that has opened up. We just got done looking at the bud, and the flower opened before I could have time to finish editing the video. So let's look at that little darling. Flower's probably maybe 2 inches across from petal to petal. And that orangey red family. I haven't talked about this plant since it was in bloom, but this one I got from Norman's Orchids in California. There was a orchid haul that I did, and when I received this one, it was mislabeled, but I'm so happy that when it opened, it was actually the one that I wanted and what I purchased. This is Phalaenopsis Sunset Gemstone with the clonal name Tahiti. Now that is a cross of Ox, O-X, Ox Prince, crossed with Ox Golden Star. And I got this plant because their pictures that they have online just has massive branching, massive, massive plant. So it's eventually just the flower capacity that this plant could have is astounding. And I purchased a planter at Home Goods, you know, one of those places, but Home Goods. And I was like, wow, I love this planter. I need an orchid. I need to buy an orchid to go in this planter. Have y'all ever done that? You need to buy the orchid to match the decorative pot that you found that you love. I did. This one here. This is going to be gorgeous as it gets larger and put in that pot. Right now, it's like at least a 5-inch pot or 6-inch. I think it's a 6-inch. And this is nowhere near ready to go in that large of a pot. Anyway, so first bloom seedling. And I got 2 flowers off of it. And then it decided, it's growing under lights, and then it decided to start growing its spike some more. So I have another bud here that's about to open, and it looks to me like we could get some more. There's another little bud right there. Let's see here if I get this up close and see if the camera will focus and you can see that right in there, that little tiny little bud right there. Hopefully you can see that. It's planted in sphagnum moss. That's the way that Norman's Orchids has their orchids, their Phalaenopsis. Now, it is a sphagnum plug. It's very compressed, very tight in there. And it's in a clear pot, so you can see some of the roots here We've got some green roots. We've got some that look a little brown and dried. This one is dried up too. Pop that piece off right there. And it's a little damp. It's been a couple weeks since I watered it. I don't water my plants in sphagnum moss. I don't water my Phalaenopsis every 7 days, every week. I don't do it. Inside the home, this sphagnum moss will not dry out fast enough inside of a home as it would if this had been planted in bark. I could water it more frequently, but that is one of the number one things that people do to kill orchids is they overwater them. They think there is a golden rule that if you don't follow it, your orchid's not going to live, and buddy, you better be watering it every single week. No, that is a fallacy. You do not need to do that. You need to check your plant. And this is why a lot of commercial growers have gone to plastic pots so that it will help the beginning growers learn better how to watch those roots and know when to water. I watch the sphagnum moss as well. This sphagnum moss is still damp. It has some give and some bounce to it, and I am not going to water this plant yet. Yet. So anyway, I just quickly wanted to introduce you to and show you these blooms. Let's see here. How big are they? And can you imagine when this is going to have just gobs and gobs of blooms on it? Each of these flowers are 4 inches across. So multiply that by about 20 or more. This thing is just going to be incredible. And that's really, really the reason why I got it, was for its potential of what it can do. And it's not too bad looking. Lovely little sunset colors here with the nice dark pink lip in that. And Phalaenopsis Sunset Gemstone Tahiti. Buddy, it lives up to its name and its coloration. I just wanted to show you another one of my orchids. These are the little seedlings. This is why it only has 2 flowers on it. And I just wanted to show this one to you. Let's move on to the next one that's in bloom or in bud. This is one of my Phalaenopsis minis, the little mini Phalaenopsis that I got this at the grocery store for $5. And so it was in bloom, obviously, when I got it. So I know what it looks like, and I'll post a picture of what it looks like. It's a little pink with some stripes. And I've repotted it since I got it. And I just wanted to show you something here. This is the old bloom spike, and I totally let it dry all the way down. Now, one interesting thing that I want you guys to understand about Phalaenopsis is a lot of times there's a high probability that the leaf under your flower spike will end up dying back on your plant. So this flower spike here had a leaf. I let it totally dry back. I picked up the plant today and it fell off. Now we have a new flower spike that is growing and new roots, and we have another leaf. Oops, let me lift this up here. We have another leaf right here that is brown, and I just let it totally die back and just comes right off the plant. Now this particular plant here, I repotted it in sphagnum moss. It is going absolutely insane. I'm going to feel like I need to repot it again. Look at the roots coming out of the bottom of the hole here. We've got roots here, crazy roots underneath here, and I can see them pushing out. Let's see if I can figure out how to get in here really tight and close. But look right here at the base as you look down. There's just a little nubbin coming out there of another root starting to come out of this plant. And all of this happening, and new flower spike growing here, branching. Oh, I'm so excited. Look at the branches. We've got a branch here and a branch here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, wait a minute here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like 8. Probably more because this tip here hasn't finished growing yet on this one. And I just wanted to show you real quick here how you cut off your dead flower sheath, flower spike. You want to take your scissors. Now these I've already sterilized these with the flame torch. So, and I've done that before in other videos, so I'm not going to show you that. But you want to take them, your pruners, and you want to come down as close to the base of this flower spike as possible and just cut it off. So simple, just like that. It's done. The plant's done with that. It's taken all of those mobile nutrients and moved them out of those leaves and out of that flower spike so that it can have energy to produce new roots, new leaves, and new flower spikes. This one is growing under lights, and it's just happy as a lark, I tell you what. And I'm just like, dang it, I just repotted the thing not long ago, and I need to repot it again because I like to get my roots growing down in the media and don't really like them coming out the bottom. So what is this? I think this is a 3-inch pot, so we're going to have to repot this one, and I'll just decide whether I want to do it now. I might, because we've got these roots going crazy here, new root tips and everything. Even though it's pushing out a flower spike, I think I probably could manage to repot this one without any damage to the flower spike. And I'll show you this one for sure when it finishes growing and it starts opening. Cute little thing. And I might decide the way it's growing here if I want to, and if I can, get this flower spike to stake up any more. Now, because it's growing under lights, I could turn the plant so that it would naturally move towards the light and see if that would help any, just so it'll get it a little bit straighter so I could have a nicer presentation. What do you think? I think that would be a little bit nicer presentation, especially with the branching here. I don't want all the flowers here to just be in a mass down into here. I want to try to give it some opportunity to let these branches spread out a little bit. Just some little grooming tips that you can assess when you look at your plants. And there's some ways that you could turn it so that it will grow towards the light better and get it to straighten up if need be. Let's move on to the next plant that we have that is either in bud or blooming. All right, this next one here, I want to introduce you to this lovely Phalaenopsis here. This is Phalaenopsis Chia let's see how you pronounce that, Yenlin. This is the most prolific Phalaenopsis I think I have ever seen in my life. This thing is incredible. I bought this plant in March of this year, 2023, in March, in flower. And it had a bloom spike. Let's see here, where was it? Yeah, okay. So, had a bloom spike right here. Right here. So I get it home and I put it under lights back here on the windowsill. And I also repotted it. Thing went nuts. It pushed out another bloom spike. That bloom spike branched, and that bloom spike was just cut off last week. If not, what is today? It might have been cut off 2 days ago. Because the flowers finally, yeah, I just cut it off maybe like 2 days ago. Because those flowers finally started fading. In the meantime, while this sucker is in bloom, it pushed out a leaf, a second leaf, and now a third leaf. And roots galore. Look at these roots here. One growing here, here, here. There's one underneath here that's growing. It's totally planted in sphagnum moss. And I do not water this plant very frequently. Not at all, because the sphagnum moss will take a while to dry out. You know what? There might actually be a little bit of bark in here as well that I'm seeing. This puppy is pushing out 2 more flower spikes, and this one is branching right here. And let's see here. Yeah, that I'm pretty sure is going to be a branch. Not sure if this is going to end up being a branch there. Let me look at this node down here. Let me try to get in here so you guys can see this better. On a Phalaenopsis bloom spike, you have nodes. There's one here, and a branch is coming out of that. You'll either, at each of those nodes is where you'll have either a flower, or it may branch and produce multiple flowers off of that branch. Those are called nodes. So there's one here, and one here, and then it's still developing, and it's pushed out a second flower spike. Most prolific thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm absolutely in love with this Phalaenopsis here. Now, I do believe this particular Phalaenopsis, the Chia Yenlin, that they also have maricloned the ones that have the variegated leaves on it. And if this is any indication of what that plant could do, I might have to find one of those to have in my collection too, because this thing is insane. Grow like a weed. You've heard that terminology? This is the Phalaenopsis that grows like a weed. And I got it at my local hardware store. Yep, that's where it came from. $15. Best $15. Tell you what, this thing is nuts. There's another root coming out. Right here in between these two, there's another root I can see coming out. And then underneath this one, there's another one coming out right here. One back here. Just nuts. Insane. Now, what's interesting to me is it's growing directly under lights, and the flower spikes are growing towards the light that is sitting on that lower shelf right there, instead of growing straight up. So I might move it so that I like it better when it grows straight up than out. I don't mind them growing straight up and arching. That's a nice presentation on your Phalaenopsis. But this one, I know, I've watched it since March. It will grow more upright. Another thing I can do is some light training. If this plant here is sitting on the window back here in this position, and it has a grow light here, and then there's another grow light on that console table there, that shelf, and this is growing towards that light, I could turn this plant around this way and see if I can't start forcing this spike right here and the second one to start moving towards the light, and then it will straighten that up. It's called light training, and that's something that you can do with your orchids as well. And let's see here, I'm going through all of the orchids that I can think of. There's some more upstairs, and I've pretty much talked about everything that I'm aware of that's in bud. Down back over here, let's see here. I've got, I think yes, there are some more that haven't opened yet that are in bud, but I'm gonna save the best for last.